Hello, welcome to another episode of Watercolour Workshop with myself, Stephen Cronin, and I'm starting as usual with clean water all over the paper, just to lubricate everything, keep everything nice and soft, and then I'm just going to go a bit of raw sienna, a little bit of alizarin crimson. I'm just going to whack those in all the way down the bottom of the paper. Little gaps, leaving little gaps here and there. A bit more raw sienna. A bit more water just to keep everything flowing nicely. Got a little bit dry there at the bottom, so I've just wetted it a bit more. So that's the initial wash. Now I want to go over with a darker wash, so I'm just going to go a bit of alizarin crimson. What I've got left in of the paint of the ultramarine. Just waiting for my paint to arrive through the post. So let's go in there, up there like that. In fact, it's just brush it in like this. I ain't going to mess about with this one. A bit more water, it's got a little bit dry. I just want to see it just coming down the paper, just slightly, not too much. But just enough to mix everything together. I'm just going to add a little bit of light red to it. Just see what that does. Let's darken this a bit more ultramarine. That'll help darken it a little bit. Create a little bit more drama. I'm just going to brush in from the sides, preserve this lit area down the middle. A bit more red, a bit more blue, a bit of ultramarine up, alizarin crimson, Payne's grey. I'm just going to pop a few little clouds, a bit more crimson, some up there like that, more Payne's grey. Got quite a high horizon line, so I can't come down too far with it. Something like so. Just brush down a little bit more. So that's the sort of main backdropping. So I'm going to do, stick with the same colours. So always put the most distant land in with the same colours as I've put in the sky. Got something just up there. Paper stretched slightly, so I'm just going to pull it tight against this piece of plywood so that it's flat against the board again. So it's just coming away slightly. I'm just going to see if I can get away with. Whoops! Just drop the brush on the floor. If I can just get away with scrape. I don't know if I've done it dark enough actually. Might be a bit too faint. Only just about see. I should have done it a little bit darker. I don't know, might get away with it. Yeah, I think that's just a nice subtle snow-capped mountain in the background. So these ones are a little bit closer. In fact, a bit closer now. So I'm going to switch. Just pop that one in first. And I'm going to switch to raw sienna. Raw sienna, a bit closer, so I've gone away from the sky colours and see now completely different now. That's all the way along there. It's quite a narrow bit of land. So I don't want to come down too far. And what I'll do, I'll just add a little bit of burnt umber just to darken this. Just put some burnt umber in there. A bit more water, just loosen it all up and get a nice chisel edge on the brush. You know how all the hairs fray and come away, so it makes it difficult to paint with. Just get the very tips of the water, the tips of the hairs in the water, which brings them all back together again. So I want some little dark areas just scattered about, especially down there by the banks. And then I'm going to clean the brush. I'm just going to put a bit more raw sienna in on the right hand side. Bring that right down. Just where, imagine the water's going to sweep round there, so I just want to put this in. Just work out where the bend is in the river. That's going to come down somewhere about like that. Add a bit of burnt umber, darken the mix, bit of ultramarine. Got just enough water, maybe just a tad more, just the very tips, just to bring all the hairs together. Into the ultramarine, and I'm just pulling it so it's got a nice chisel edge. This brush is well worn, so I can't get a perfect edge on this one. I might have to get a new one soon. It's coming right down to there. What I might do when it's dry is I might go over this again, these little bits, just to add some dark sections. I don't know yet. I'll have to see what it looks like. Just popping those in like that. If I get away, maybe just pull this tight again. I just want it flat against this board, especially when you're scraping out. It's difficult when it's not flat. Paper needs to be flat really. Just scraping it. Two little rocks here and there. I want to come a little bit further down now. So slightly further down the page, paper, we've got some more rocks. So I'm just adding a bit more ultramarine, sort of getting a grey, sort of rocky colour. And that's coming in from somewhere about like that. Sweeping some big strokes. Bit of light red in there as well, just to vary it a little bit. Back into the ultramarine. That's going just up there. Just a bit more water on the brush, just to loosen the paint up a bit more. Maybe a touch of alizarin crimson. Somewhere up there. And what I'll do, I'll just scrape a few little rocks in there. Let's just see what it looks like. So. Trying to sort of vary the shapes and sizes. Some big ones there. I'm not being very good. I'm doing some left-handed, some right-handed. I should have just stuck with one or the other. I was changing my mind which way the light was coming from as I was doing it. I don't really give myself much time to think, to be honest. It would be easy if I just planned these beforehand, but never mind. So let's just pop a little bit more. Bit more water, just to loosen it all up. I've just thrown burnt umber. Give me tea towel, really. Burnt umber, bit of light red in there as well. I'm just making dark colours with what I've got on the palette basically. It doesn't matter too much what you use. And because the paint's starting to dry, it's going on darker and darker. So now remember I said earlier about drying it and waiting until it was dry and then going over it again. So if I go over it again now, you can see, I'll just take off these stray hairs off the brush. You see now I can get these sort of stronger marks now, darker tone. this side. Just stick that up there. It's a little bit stronger up here as well. Let's just strengthen that a little bit. Bring that right way down. Touch of water just to loosen everything up. Just get a little bit dry. Back into the brown, red, blue combination. Pull it across the palette just to sort of flatten it all off so you've got a nice sharp edge. And these are just little bits, rocks and mud and things that just by the water's edge, by the banks. Just get a few more dark sections in there. Basically what you're looking for is a nice blend of lights and darks, big contrasts that just make your painting more interesting. Go and stand at the back of the room and look at it. See if you can work out where the main elements are from the back of the room. That's a good test. That's basically what I do. See, often I'll just pause it. I'll pause the recording and go and stand at the back of the room, give me a better impression of what's happening on the paper. A bit more striping, just to break up these dark sections, but not too much. Right, how's that looking? What I have realised is this sort of faint snow mountain would look better if this bit, it doesn't look quite right with this darker tone behind it, so I just want to bring that in front of it. So if I bring this down now, pull it in front, now looks slightly better. See, now that looks, yeah, that's a lot better now because that looks really far back, and this bit of land now looks closer to us. Let's just darken this a little bit, just to make this look a little bit closer, just to make that, pushes that, the white mountain further and further back, which is sort of, just to create depth, which is what I'm looking for. A few little dibs and dabs over there. I think I'm almost there now. I think all I want to do now is just put a little figure in it, just to act as a focal point. So I'm just mixing up just a bit of colour, just to put my little figure in. A bit of burnt umber, a bit of ultramarine. Make sure you put in someone just walking. Just very, very tiny. Put like a little rucksack on the back, and yeah, I think I'm taking the dog as well. Take the dog with him. Stick his little legs in, there's his head. There we go, I'm just going for the walk. And I think I'm going to call that one done, I think. Just stick the little bird in. And then all that's left to do, last but not least, stick your name in the corner. I tend to just do the opposite side that I've done, where the focal point is, really, just to keep it out of the way. I'm going to call that one done. So let's stick a mount on it and see what it looks like. This is the mounted finished painting, so let's go in and have a closer look at it. So, a few sky colours, raw sienna, and then we got this sort of alizarin, ultramarine Payne's grey, just to try and darken these clouds a little bit. All those colours brought down all the way into the bottom, so you got the sort of reflection of the sky colours in the water area. And then the most distant land I just scraped in with the card just to give the impression of like a distant snow covered mountain. I then went over this area again just to bring this in front of that, because obviously that needs to be the furthest thing away and it didn't quite look right. I mean, you can just about see where I've gone over it, but it doesn't really matter. It gives the general impression that this is in the foreground compared to that. That continues down. And again, I darkened it up this side as well, just to try and push this mountain further and further back into the distance. Then in the middle ground here, sort of mainly sort of raw sienna, and then little dark bits scattered amongst him, and then a few little bits of scraping, just to suggest a few rocks and stones by the riverbank. A few more on the right hand side. Put the lighter areas in first, and then, especially once it's dry, you can go over it again just to really darken up the areas that you want to darken, darker tones. Foreground's just a big mass of rocks really, just a few various dark mixes, and then scraping in the rocks and stones with just a corner of plastic card. You can see all the little variations on. It looks like a rock. I mean, I haven't done. All I've done is just scrape it. That's just the paper itself, just like the rough paper that creates this nice rock effect. I say rough, it's not rough, it's cold pressed, which is sort of halfway between rough and smooth. And then finally, we've got a little focal point here, a little man walking his dog up into the mountains. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's all for today. You'll find this in my eBay store with every other painting I ever do. And don't forget to leave your comments down below. I always enjoy reading what you say, listening to your feedback. Keep practicing. Any questions, please ask, and I'll see you again soon.